This puzzle is from the first area of Talos Principle II, the Grassland Ring, East 1, and it's puzzle 8 from that area. It's entitled Entanglement. As to whether or not that's a good name for the puzzle, I'll leave that for you to decide. This puzzle is set in a rectangular corridor with 4 doors. It's always nice when you can see the goal, which is behind one of them. It's opened by a green laser receiver. Now, already I'm seeing some trouble here because the receiver is behind these metal bars from one side, meaning it will likely have to be activated from the other side. 2 of the doors are opened by pressure plates, and the last one is opened by another green laser receiver, and behind that door is a box, or hexahedron, for those in the know. Initially, you're given a connector. With that, the only thing we can do is open up the pressure plates to one of the 2 doors. Behind one of the doors is a red laser, which we're definitely going to need to open those other 2 doors, because behind the other is a blue laser, and an RGB converter, as well as a fan, which needs a green laser receiver and a switch to activate. So from this point, no matter what, to make progress here, we're going to need a green laser using the RGB converter and the 2 lasers. We can access the red laser from pressure plate 1, and the blue laser from pressure plate 2. So we can put the connector on plate 1, allowing us to open its door, and access the laser from pressure plate 2, where we can put the RGB converter to keep the door open for the blue laser, and access the green laser receiver, allowing us to open the door for the box. It's clear that whatever the next step is, it involves the fan, the box, and the converter. We'll likely need to put the converter and the box in this door, so we should move the connector to this pressure plate so we can move all of the resources into this room. We know we need to take the RGB converter and connect it to a blue and red laser here. And we may as well connect it to the green receiver here, as it's the only thing it can reach from this box. We can access the blue laser, but we'll have to set up the red laser again. So we take the connector and connect it to the red laser and put it on pressure plate 1 again, so we have a red laser source, and connect it to the RGB connector through the door. Then we activate the pressure plate with our body to open it. Once we do this, that should get the RGB converter and box floating in air, as the RGB connector is now shining a green laser at the receiver for this fan. The final catch of this puzzle is we need to activate the last green laser receiver from this side. The thought will probably occur to you that you can use the connector to activate it, since now we can reach this green laser from almost anywhere in the puzzle, but it's being used to keep the box and the RGB connector up in the air. But remember, now the RGB connector can be seen from almost anywhere in the map. If you stand at the red laser here, you'll see that it has a perfect line of sight to the box and the RGB converter. What that allows you to do is connect the RGB converter to both the connector and the red laser, as well as the blue one, so that once it's in the air, it's self-sustaining. Now that frees up the connector to be moved from the pressure plate and used to activate the final receiver. Most of the puzzle is straightforward, but in my opinion it has 2 tricky parts. When you get used to opening the pressure plates with connectors and boxes, you sometimes forget you can open one with your own weight, which is what's needed to send the box and the RGB connector skyward. And 2, connecting the RGB connector with the red laser, knowing that the box will be able to access it once it's in the air. This is a little tricky, because this side of the laser also has bars, just like the bars around the receiver, to open the door for the goal. So it isn't immediately obvious that this can be done. I think this is a solid puzzle, and it's one of the first curveballs I feel that the game throws at you in terms of difficulty. It's one of the first challenging puzzles in the game that doesn't feel like it's just teaching you basic mechanics. Also, I'm not sure what the purpose of this switch is. It might have been a red herring, or maybe I just skipped a few steps in solving the puzzle. I'm not sure. Let me know if you have any thoughts about this puzzle or any others you'd like me to cover.